There, the 2 days that this meeting, so, we're here, you're yes, whatever we can do to accommodate, please, I'm excited about it, really excited about it. We're in the process of turnaround plan for the organization, from the top to bottom, and I decided this evening to make this the kickoff. This night, this event right here, we're going to kickoff for the Austin Children and Family Center. So I thank you all for being here tonight. Let's get it done. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you repeat your name again?
Pardon me.
Repeat your name again. Repeat your name.
Your name? Alex Roseborough.
Alex Bolger.
Alex Rose.
Nice to meet you.
You're gonna write your name on there for us as well, when you're
Nice to
signing?
meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your card.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna call our meeting to order at this time. We always start our meetings off with prayer and, we always need it. So we'll take a moment of silence, just to think about those that have been affected by whatever they should be affected by. All right, thank you all. All right, so we begin our meeting with establishing quorum. So, we have to do that via roll call. I'll start. I am Dr. DeAndre Bruce, the communication specialist for the 15th District Council and President.
I am Chair Carmelita Earls, present for 15th District Council. So we do have four. And we have you.
And Arayla,
Array White, Karen Winters, 15th District, nominator, virtually present.
that we have quorum. So, the first section that we'll move to is, public comment. This section generally lasts, for 20 minutes or so, enough comments to share. Either way, each individual has about 2 minutes to just express themselves as it relates to issues that they have relating to public safety or police accountability. It could be in your immediate area of the community, or it could be larger if you see any issues. And so this moment is the time to share. Unfortunately, we don't have our officers present. Generally, during this session, if things are brought up that they can address, they typically promptly address them, which has been super dope for the 15th district. But they couldn't make it tonight. There's coincidentally a meeting taking place simultaneously at Michelle Clark that will be focusing on community safety as well. That is to address the district strategic plan that CPD generally comes up with yearly, and they need community input so that they can continue to cultivate that and address whatever concerns that the community has. But you're in a better meeting, though, I assure you. So with that, anybody would like to share anything? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know if you know anything more about the shooting that occurred around the corner. And I think it's 545 North Pine. Yesterday morning, a young man who happened to be cutting our grass, he was gonna go get some more. He ran out of gas and he heard the shots and the police were all over the place and he saw a man lying on the ground over there, the lawn building around the corner. And apparently later died at the hospital. And he had a young child in the back seat and apparently somebody was shooting from a car. I don't know if it was a targeted shooting, sounds like it, but wonder if they were caught. That's a big thing for safety around here.
Shootings?
Well, that particular one, I wonder if anybody was caught, and if you know anything more about it.
No, I haven't heard about it, unfortunately. And I will, because I do have the sergeant's number. She did want me to reach out to her about any incidents that come up during these talks. So while I'm on my phone, I will be texting her so I don't forget. I'm gonna text her right now to ask her about that. 545, you said?
I think that's what our helper said, yes.
So what's the general cross streets? Maybe
Well,
that's
it's Pine and Race,
Pine and Ray.
545 North Pine. Right around the corner.
Okay. Anything else that concerns you about the community as it relates to public safety or police accountability?
Well, it's Labor Day, I was going to the farmer's market in Oak Park, or not, well, actually the Saturday. The day of the, Danny Davis's annual. Back to school picnic.
Mhm.
And there was no place to cross Central. And it took what would have taken no more than 10 minutes, took almost an hour for me to get there. I ended up having to go down to the Eisenhower round. And I'm thinking, what if somebody had to get to work? What if somebody, and then, oh, and in the meantime, trying to go down the streets, I think the police were undermanned. One of them said we don't have enough manpower. People were going down northbound streets, southbound, eastbound streets, westbound, all over, and I finally called the district, I said, you need to get more people, we don't have any.
Yeah.
And even though they had plenty at the Democratic convention, and I said, you're gonna have some traffic accidents. And the desk sergeant said, yeah, we already had 2. And this was like halfway through the picnic, so. It was chaotic. Now, we just moved back from Florida, but I remember years before, I don't remember this being so chaotic before that you couldn't get through. I would suggest, A, borrow some officers from another district or something, but B, every few minutes, let certain streets cross. The parade, because, it's a lot of people more important than what I had to do. And certainly you don't want accidents on the sides. We were forced down an alley all over the neighborhood trying to just get to Oak Park. So that's not my other issue.
I do know that I spoke with Nikki Harvey, who works for Congressman Danny Davis's office. They've been getting a lot of complaints about the lack of logistics. So that has been well noted. And so it is back in their district office to talk about how this could be done a little better and different. Because I do know that Madison from Laramie on to Central was closed. And a lot of businesses took a financial hit for them because they could not get any form of traffic when the parade is actually coming from the north going south to Columbus Park.
So go south on Laramie. Madison was blocked at Laramie. I had to go over to Cicero.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The businesses from
Crazy.
Laramie to Central took a financial hit
Yeah,
economically because it was closed when it was not necessary from our standpoint because the parade was on Central.
right.
So there was no need to affect that change, but duly noted, I do know I spoke with her and she did say that a lot of people have shared their concern. As a matter of fact, it would possibly, you can give them a call and let them know.
I'm gonna go over there, but
Yeah.
I'm busy unpacking. So.
No worries, no worries.
I-
Fifth Avenue in California is the location,
Yeah.
and it would be great to hear that. Thank you.
I also say this year, it hasn't been as chaotic in years past. It was a unique year where they had to push it back because of the DNC. And that's another thing. Officers were on 12-hour shifts because of the DNC. So they may have, I don't know what the rationale or reason behind the issue this year, but that could have played a role into it too. Maybe they were short officers because of the DNC, or there were some that hadn't returned from different duties. I don't know. I'm not gonna, speak to policing side things because I can't. But I do know that this was one of those years where, in fact, the parade itself took place at the end of the month when it typically doesn't. The same week that the DNC was, that would have been the week in which the parade would have been.
All right, it's back to school.
Yeah, so that probably faced something.
Before we get too far, I do wanna, talk about your first one. The shooting of anyone, the murder of 545 Pine. But more importantly, there was a 17-year-old that was found on the street 45 minutes after the actual shots. And I'm not, we are part of our fiduciary duty is to talk about public safety. ShotSpotter is no longer online. And it just so happened that at that location, there would have been a monitor at that location. ShotSpotter previously monitored that area, but instead that young man was found 45 minutes after the actual event. What I'm gonna ask everyone present here and anyone that you know is to get on the phone to your public officials and share your concerns of public safety so that they realize that this is an engaged 15 district. This district cares about not only our own safety, but our neighbor's safety. You just moved back from Florida, good Lord, lady, I would have changed spots with you. But however, welcome back home. That being stated, they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. What that means in my industry is that a closed mouth don't get fed. So if we actually come out and share our dislike and non-agreement with that, you can possibly overturn some things. We don't just have to accept what is thrown our way. We vote people in, we vote people out, and your voice is your vote.
I would just like to say about Florida, no, you don't really wanna change places, because I was involved in the NAACP down there, and they put a warning out, like, black people don't come to Florida. Seriously. And you might notice I'm not black, and I love too, so.
I get it,
People.
I get it, I get it. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to ask, right, quick, if you had any news or perspectives on that Dexter Reed case and the bigger issue of traffic stops and pretextual traffic stops. The head of COPA came down to the Tuesday morning, west side leader on Tuesday, yeah, and indicated she was getting a lot of pushback from the police department and the police union, that COPA was being accused of having an anti-police bias on this thing. I wondered what she thought, what news there was.
So we have, as district counselors, we signed up to move pretextual stops as an issue to our community commission, to which they were appointed for. The last I heard is that unfortunately, the language for pretextual stops will be moved into our consent decree. That's unfortunate because that is where things go to die.
Okay,
Our consent decree has been in place since, when was the consent decree put in place?
I want to say 2019 or 2019, 2020. Yeah, because it was 5 years. I think we're going into our 6th year.
And what's the percentage of completion?
I think they may be, last I recollect, they were at like 7% compliance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so, we were trying to circumvent that by having to go to the community commission to become a part of their ordinance work, or not their, but the general order work. But that hadn't happened, and so what is supposed to happen is that even though it has been entered in the consent decree, they are supposed to be able to look at it and assess it to see how moving forward it will be addressed. So they will be able to put eyes on it at least
Mhm.
to help it. But again, the unfortunate is that the consent decree is where things go to die because they haven't worked as diligently as they need to in order to meet the requirements of it. So that's the last thing. And then one more update is that, I got a few. There is a petition, I just gotta go to the right inbox here. There's a petition that is going out to the mayor on the map. Let me see, let me find it. Okay, so there's a petition going out for the mayor, the Freedom Move Coalition, which has been one of the groups advocating to end pretextual stops, are sending out a letter to the mayor to urge him to take action on the issue as a part of the ongoing consent decree negotiations. The letter itself highlights the need for immediate action in those negotiations, particularly by ensuring that there is a comprehensive policy proposal that was drafted by Freedom Move Coalition, some of the other groups that are against pretextual stops, so that language could be included and prioritized. And so they're asking for support from us as elected officials, the district council, and they're asking for us to sign on that by Friday. And once they collect those signatures, they're gonna send that to the mayor. No problem. Any other, yes?
I have a question about this, but I do have a question. As to, I guess what I'm gathering from the council is that you are a direct link to things for the community. Can you expand on exactly the functionality of the council?
Yeah, so we have a section, after this section, actually, it's updates. During the update section, we actually explain each of our individual roles. And that'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what we do as individual members. As a group, our role is essentially to be the voice for community concerns. What happens during these meetings is that as you voice whatever those issues are in public safety or police accountability, they are recorded because as elected officials, it is public knowledge. They are recorded amongst ourselves and then each individual district that, each individual district council. There are 22 district councils. Each of us have 3 members for a total of 66 of us. We just recently had a quarterly. During those quarterlies, we actually talk about the issues in each section of our cities. So, for example, the west side, there's 10, 11, 15, and then sometimes you can count 25. Because they have a part of Austin, and although they're more Belmont Cragen, they are considered a little bit of northwest, if you will. So let's say the west side. So all of our issues kind of get compiled and say, okay, well, these are the problems that the west side is facing, north, south, and well, we don't have the east, but you get what I'm saying. And so as a group, we look at it and then we kind of decide this is actions that we'd like to see the commission take to address these concerns. The commission then, which sits at the citywide level, then they are the ones that put general orders in place so that whatever those issues are can be addressed by the Chicago Police Department. And they do that via goals. And so, and I'll go through that a little bit. You know what? So yes, our role is to serve as conduits for information as it relates to public safety and police accountability. What I was about to do is just go through and tell you actually how we got here. So I'll try to make this very quick. In 2019, the city of Chicago passed what they call Empowering Communities for Public Safety. What that did was create 2 new oversight bodies, civilian-led oversight bodies in the Chicago Police Department. The district council, which again, there are 22 police districts, so there's 22 district councils, and there's 3 members for each district council. In addition, it created the community commission. There's 7 of those individuals. They sit at the city level. Their role is to be the head of the oversight body. So COPA, the police board, and the police department, in such that they can give goals to the superintendent. They can also put the superintendent up for recommendation of fire. When they do, if they do that, then that person has to go in front of the city council, who then votes to keep that person or remove that person. They also have the ability to set goals for COPA and the police board, as well as place the head of those organizations in place. And as I mentioned, they can write policy or general orders on our behalf in order to improve public safety and police accountability. The district council serve at the very hyper local level. They serve at the city level, and we're your voice. We send it up to them, and then they become the voice for the city overall. So, yeah. Did that explain?
It did. I guess, I have another question. So I was in a meeting not too long ago, and there was an officer there, and the question was posed about what's being done to anticipate the level of violence on Madison, I guess, the and basically the
Our meeting. Our meeting.
No, it was not.
Oh, it wasn't that one? Oh, it was, oh, so somebody else had the same concern.
Yeah, and so the response given was that they, as much as they understand the need to stymie the drug selling and everything, they are actively focusing on getting the drug dealers to treat the community constituents better while they're doing their drug dealing. As opposed to remedy the drug problem altogether. I understand it's challenging to remedy the drug problem, but to say, well, you know, the happy medium is we're getting the community better while they're doing their criminality.
And you're saying that came from CPD?
Yeah, I don't say no name.
No, but it came from an officer. No, something wrong with it. Yeah, something is wrong with it.
There's a larger issue, and that's just one person saying it, but it seems to be in accordance with what the understanding is relative to police in Chicago.
Which, yeah, and which brings me back to, okay, that's why, the drug selling has not stopped in the community, because they're not focusing on stopping in the community. What they're focusing, what they're focusing on is, is, hey, while you're selling drugs, don't mistreat the people in the neighborhood. You know, be kind, how they do that.
I know they're mistreating them by selling.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
We see your hand, and that's a very interesting, take, considering if that was stated in open forum from a person that's supposed to represent public safety in the form of Chicago Police Department, personnel, no name needed, as I'm sorry, I don't like calling, your name now? Pearlie, as Sister Pearlie just stated, it adds credence to the lack of disruption. And I want you guys to go home and watch the movie Power. And for those of you that haven't seen it, POWER, this is about the police department, how it was started. That's going to give a backdrop of the mentality of the people that serve in these uniforms. And it will possibly, I'm not saying justify anything, it will give you an insight as to how institutionally things were founded with, I used to work for a boss. He didn't want to solve the problem, he just wanted to stay in office, and I'm gonna leave it right there. Now, white shirt, now you.
I'm just really, you said, and my neighbor right here. It's not that, stuff is being shared. Stuff is, I just came to Nick, I heard about y'all meeting tonight. I'm tired, I'm just tired, I'm explaining, at some point, I'm not here to stay but we understand. I'm not here to stay y'all don't know who I am. I'm sure, I know who you are. But I think your weapon don't work with you, because like you said, a lot of stuff, but we need to change this. We get it, remember, we live it. I've been off on your time for 50 years, so it's nothing new, what you're saying, I don't know, right? I know already. It needs to be a change. It needs to be a change. If we keep on seeing this, like, and our kids getting killed, in the drug activity, or no, it's not normal to me, I don't like it, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Sick of seeing our meetings. Get some of our women on thing, going, to the alley, and somebody's killing again, that ain't the first killing, it's a whole lot of killing around here. And it's being known, it's known, you all. It's being told, it's known. What's gonna be done about it? Both parts not like this.
That's the most disturbing thing. It's so adjacent, but the criminality is not the same.
What are we getting, you getting paid to do? I know it's racism, all the 15 years, I don't even know how many years. 28 was next year, I was 16 years old when I stayed there. So I know the revamp, I know all of this.
But it's worse now.
But it's getting worse now. We don't see it as this. I think it's wow, it's nice over here. I've been with MMS 24 years. I know Tyler, I know all of them, Jason, I know all of them. When is this gonna stop? What are you all We voted you all in. What we go, what y'all gonna do different than to tell them what, I mean, y'all tell me, tell us. Cause I'm sick of the drugs, I'm tired of all night long being out of sleep. I don't even own the building, I just live there, but I chose to stay there. Some of them got houses around here,
Yeah,
just like she just said, she got a house here.
yeah,
I mean, come on, y'all,
across the street, they just broke in my place and took everything I had.
come on, y'all.
And I've been here 55 years,
Oh,
never had that before.
been there for a long time.
And I don't wanna take it in my own hand. Cause I'm gonna be dangerous.
Drag that truck.
I try not to take it in my own hand because I'm gonna be dangerous with the guys. I mean, with all of them, because I never saw it like this
The
before.
addicts.
They just come in and take them, just took all my stuff, just broke in my door and took my stuff. I want to shoot them so bad. I just hate to kill somebody. Yeah, go in my yard, kick my door in. Took everything out of my garage, just up my car. We never had this before.
Right.
They like
In
somebody-
our garage a couple weeks ago, wasn't anything worth
The
taking.
addicts, you all,
It seemed like somebody just brought a busload of it.
they just dumped all over there and I made it.
All of a sudden, it just came so.
Yeah, hello, right here.
And then they wanna jump on you, I just told her.
She made it out. How we go back?
She gonna call me a name, and I was in my garage, you got that stick, so I'm gonna get a girl, come on.
So,
Come
you
on,
went down.
I'll beat you so I kill you.
You tired of it. Thinking that you know this.
And when you call the police, what they send for police and what they have hired for police now,
They get on our total side.
You know something? those kids don't even know what's going on and what the streets is about. They just putting anything in the police department.
Complain, but no, they're done.
They raided 3 times. And after they raided, it was back in there less than an hour.
Yeah, there you go, there.
That don't make sense.
Maybe they.
I don't know.
Maybe that is the.
So, you know, it's interesting because, the police complaint is that the justice system has changed a bit. Which is true, it has. And so we are a victim of what we've asked for, in a sense, only because that we asked for a change in the justice system. We didn't think it was gonna be this way, you know? So, I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves, that is a part of the issue. The police can only, you know, police but to a point, you know, so if they were to raid and then folks come right back, you know, the police take themselves, they lock up people who, an hour later, they were right back out on the street. So I mean, you know, that they technically, they did the role that they were assigned to do. Now you got another party that's supposed to do their role. You know, but again, we wanted, you know, our young men and women to not be subject to, you know, carceral penalties like they had in the past, and they changed the system so that they don't. And, you know, we're looking at, you know.
A terrible situation.
So,
It changed into a terrible situation. It very well be, it very well can be from a state standpoint and the county, which is the Cook County State's Attorney, but consider this, are the actions the same? Are the actions the same? Let's role play what you just said. They raided 500 block of Central. Police came in, confiscated whatever, arrested, stopped business for an hour, and then they're right back in. Let's marry that to what he just stated. There's various laws that speaks about what is an offense that costs money versus your signature being released. Now, hypothetically speaking, let's consider that, just say they did everything right. What did they find? Do we know all of the nuances, the specificities of those particular arrests? Or is it because hypothetically speaking, maybe somebody didn't do something right, so the state's attorney say, this is not a case that's convictable. So people are looking at numbers. We are somewhat expendable, whether we like it or not. We have to understand that this is part of the dynamic as to what we're living in. And that's, I'm excited, I'm sitting here smiling because I love the compassion and passion that I hear. Because this is, it only starts with one conversation. And then it continues, let that anger and that frustration and that stress be fueled to take it to the next spot. Your take it to CCPSA. And then when it gets at CCPSA, it doesn't stop there. Therefore, the accountability, police accountability, public safety is married together. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. What is the police budget? Does anyone know?
Close to 2 billion, isn't it?
It's 1.6 billion with a B.
Yeah.
What percentage of that 1.6 billion hits the street? I'll tell you, 80 to 85% is salaries. 15% is being divided into equipment, cars, and now incentives to eradicate crime. How the hell can that be if 1.6 billion is your budget? And by the way, ShotSpotter that just ended, if we're not spending it on ShotSpotter, guess where it's going? Back into the police budget for something else. So we have to be cognitive as to what we are signing off on and making sure that our voice is heard. Everything fits together. It is like a hand in glove. Unfortunately, no, we're not expensive. And yes, Oak Park may have a different, what can I say? Interest, meaning that a lot of those particular officers probably live in Oak Park. And then when my mother always said, without an investment, there's very little appreciation. Then maybe the answer here in 15 district is that maybe our officers should live in 15.
When you speak about investments, I think that
They used to. Maybe, well, maybe that's what we need to ask for, demand that the 15 district officers that police this area has an invested interest and live in this area. I guarantee you things will change, because technically speaking, and it's being recorded, so let me look at the camera when I say this. If there's 50 aldermen, if aldermen were being killed at a rate that our people are being killed, I guarantee you there'll be an ordinance on the book tomorrow.
bet you something.
So why are we accepting it?
Yes, yeah.
The compassion you hear, you guys have the power. You really do. You have the power to change things and the voice in the right space to make sure that we hold the people that you voted in office accountable. And if they're not doing what you want them to do, then guess what? Keep voting someone else until they get the right formula.
But one thing we was told at a meeting with,
But the thing about it is, they don't come together. When you go around and try to get them to come together, I have did it a many times.
That's why we're about to.
yeah,
Everybody do the talking, like I tell them, you do the talking on your doorstep, but when I try to get you to follow me, you won't come with me.
Yeah,
And what's that tell you?
They don't come with me.
Get somebody else to talk about it.
but what we did, when we did, we explained to them about what's going on around here. And we did talk to them, a couple superintendents talked to what's name 15 districts. We just can't arrest them because they might not have enough quantity. Somebody said, but they have enough quantity. We want to dump on them, something like that. But we have seniors around here. We have seniors around here, right in the middle of some of this stuff. And our seniors, and when I said, you don't understand how seniors feel right here? And like she spoke, well, they stay right on the corner with what was killed there. They stay right on the corner. And I said, then you gotta have a certain amount to, and can you close it, whoever that apartment building, Munoz is over, but the housing.
Trouble buildings.
Trouble building, can whoever rent that up, whatever that apartment you're coming out of, you can get that person getting that apartment, or that landlord, and so you got out of one building, am I correct? Or right back to another building that was going on at first, right? Something wrong with that picture.
I want to say one of the things that we had done in the past that we can get to, and obviously we're in fall now, is we would go and do peace circles, if you will, and I'm only using the peace circle example because it was a way that we gathered large quantities of community together at one time. Part of it is that when folks see a lack of action, they don't take that block over. That's just what it is. They're gonna take the block over and if they know that neighbors don't communicate with each other, refuse to act like they see them, you know, and they're not going to be on the same page in terms of like just gathering.
That's fine.
You got, I mean, obviously, it's block club, right? The block club is what, you know, keeps us together. And we don't have enough of those, but I tell you this, the places that do have block club, they're faring better than the others.
But those are the ones that stay together. These people don't have a century in different places, they will not stay together.
But they were, a lot of people are scared.
And they're
Not- A lot of people are scared.
They're
Right.
They are not going, they are not, I know a long time when we go to, when I come out my house. And I was going to the cast meeting down here at back to church. And the young man said, oh, you're going to the meeting, tell them about us. Said that directly to me.
Right.
And I said, excuse me? I said, you need to mind your own business and leave my business. That's what I told him. Because I was scared.
Well, so.
Everybody, hold on now, everybody like me. Everybody like some of us. And I value our singles lives. That's good, and that's what you're saying. We're gonna do that. Now we got somebody doing, what I hear from? What I tell, the platform say, I said, you building that for folks just sit here and just. All night long, why you building that here? It's not gonna, it's not,
Right here.
it's not going to accumulate, it's not built for the neighborhood.
Well, the youth are building that, so I don't know, you know, they.
It's not good, it's not.
Listen, out there right there, product is not gonna be, no us sitting out there. It's not gonna be us sitting out there, ain't no youth gonna sit out there, not with all that traffic going on, you gonna sit out there? No.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what, the reason why I brought that up is because you were asking what we were elected, what could we do? That is how we are supposed to move. We're supposed to bring community together. Our role is to teach people how to become better connected and be better community with each other. We have elected officials that don't do that now. So our role, which is the things that, like, I'm speaking to things that I've already done before, is to do that. So I'm willing to do that. The only reason I brought up the fall earlier is because nobody's gonna come out at this moment. But, you know, as we have your information and everything, all you gotta do is just request us to help with that process. Like I'm straight boots on the ground, so I'll help. We'll come out, we'll hold a peace circle, we'll bring the 15 district, that way you don't have to worry about the folks looking at it like, oh, well, it's that person, because they're the only one going themselves. Hopefully people feel a little bit more empowered to come out when they see others doing this.
Yeah.
And we don't have to have it just one time, we can do multiple because it's essentially positive loitering at the end of the day.
And actually, one of our last meetings was gonna be held on that lot because of that.
I already talked to them about this, what been a road car around the corner, y'all, I already, what y'all talking about, I already talked about that.
Okay.
I already.
But you,
Oh, we talking about the community.
I understand, I just said, I talked about that already, doing road car, we, you know, haven't done it yet.
but that's you,
Yeah,
that's you, and that's, what I'm just saying now is that you have, as you just said, you're not afraid, that's you.
Yeah.
The visual effects may just be like a magnet and draw everyone forward.
Yeah, they're from my-
So there you go, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It needs to occur because who knows? Yes, ma'am.
So as you newly established, right, council,
Right.
so as I'm listening to you talk about how you are to engage the community, is there a intent to solicit monetary support as a council to effectively engage the community? In that same meeting, we had a conversation about why is it that Oak Park is not afflicted with crime in the same manner to be positive, and also why when gentrification takes place, does crime dissipate? And the response was that when gentrification takes place, money is thereby being infused into the community. So the money takes away the crime, and if that is the case, why allow, not that gentrification is wrong, but why allow for this displacement of community by way of gentrification, instead of infusing the community adequately with money, if money is in fact the remedy.
Nah, that ain't gonna do it though. That's not gonna do it. So gentrification, so first of all, gentrifying is not bad, it's just raising the taste level of the community. Our community is not prepared. I'll tell you like this. I was working on a project to bring a plant, a employee-owned plant to the community. It's an ESOP model, you know, just like co-ops, so that folks can own the products and things that they actually put into their mouth. And the problem that we had is we were going to Blue Bunny and Tyson and some of these other companies that are large manufacturing plants was the technical expertise needed to run machines. We are not there. The unfortunate is that even if our community is, there's a bunch, I was just talking to my brother, for example. Right on Central and Madison, they got the Fire Center for Workforce Development coming in spring 2025. And I'm like, and I'm telling them about it. Nobody's telling us what the building is for. Oh, brother, the curiosity would make you want to walk in the building. That building been empty for 10 years. Just sitting there. They building up. You wouldn't just want to go and see why this looks like this? Nah, and nobody in the community would. I consider my brothers to be typically the average individual that you might see coming from our community. That's the problem. Like, our kids are raised with zero curiosity and imagination. They believe the only thing that's available is what they've seen and been conditioned to see, which is what's out there in front of them. And so we have all of these things coming and they're not even using them. Time and time again, it doesn't matter who's bringing a resource, it is being underutilized. We keep pushing people to all of these things that's available, they're not using. That doesn't fall on the resource itself. That falls on the individual. And I'm only speaking up from a perspective of I'm a doctor in psychology. I understand the psychological processes that's hindering us from moving forward. That is where we're chained up now. We need more in terms of development psychologically than anything else in this community. And we don't have enough of that right now. So
Disadvantage. It's been disadvantage. The Austin has been disadvantaged, Deandra.
no, not this is a.
This is a disadvantage if we have
This
it.
community has a lot.
We have a lot, some places. It has been disadvantaged here in years. Some of the schools and it's even right here.
Yeah, well, I'm okay.
See the information flow.
Yeah.
Not, you're disadvantaged because the information isn't getting down to the people that need to know what's within their community. You said that your curiosity isn't making you go and step into that building.
Right.
What is this? What is this? What do you do here?
Right.
You know, as a aspire coming into the community, they should be on the street saying, hey, here's what we do. Here's what's going on within your community. This is what we are here to do for you. They should be out there every Saturday, Sunday, whatever time that they have to inform that community. Because like you said, we community is busy with the hustle and bustle of living. And if we're busy with the hustle and bustle of living, then psychologically, we're not going to go and say, let me see what this building has been empty for 10 years. Now someone's occupying it. Let me go and see what. No, you're occupying it and you're placed in this community to serve this community. And if you're here to serve this community, because that's why you're getting the dollars. You're getting the dollars because of the community.
Right.
Right? And so in order to keep getting those dollars, you should be informing that community.
Right.
And part of informing our community is hosting events like this and not just sitting in your building saying, come on in, we build it.
And to the margin, when you get that money, the margin for people to actually, the quota is so dismal. Like, they can have $1 million and a quota of serving 5 people a month suffices for them to continue getting that $1 million. So it's not a true benefit agreement for them to come in. Yes, we should absolutely take advantage of it. Yes, we absolutely should bombard them till they spend every penny. But that they're not coming in here to spend every penny, and therefore they are not educating the community and putting out the resources appropriately for it to be spent down to the.
Oh, let's say it like the picture.
Now you
Y'all
now you said something now, see, See, when organizations, you just said something. Y'all, listen, you just said, when an organization comes to promote people to invest, people, there's gonna need to be a organization benefit. That's it, come on now, push now. And that's what happened, Ray, you've been talking about what's wrong. Nobody wanted to, nobody agreed with wants to go in it. You supposed to have that, the community out there. There's been agreement to all. You must come in and just get money off the back of our children.
So
That's
again,
nice,
but
that's
that's
nice.
your, those
Wait,
are
wait,
the folks
wait.
that you have
Wait,
elected
that's
that has
nice.
allowed that to happen. They are the ones that funnel money into our community. Any business, any resource, any opportunity, it touches them first. They okay. If any of that is not happening, that's because of people that would have been put in place. That's it.
We did our rate.
I know.
We did that,
I know.
and
I
a
know.
lot of people did not agree, did not.
I know.
The organization,
Even with our rate. I know.
let me go to Amazon, you all.
I know.
Amazon, you all, the big organization. What are they doing in our community? They got on Roosevelt, they know them, on our house.
Okay.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
You know, you said something that is 1,000% in agreement with me.
Yeah.
Austin has a lot of potential,
Yes, it does.
but it's not funded.
Exactly.
20 years we've had Austin has had the Congress. 20 years. Now, 20 years we've had everyone from Sam Burrell,
Yeah,
Ike Carruthers,
yeah.
Emma Mitch.
Talaferro, Emma Mitch, Jason Irving, Walter Purnett, people in your skin that we assume is our kin. The reason they get $1 million is because that is the agreement that's not beneficial to the community, but it's beneficial. I'm just gonna talk about what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. I ran for office too.
Right.
I spend my own money because I understand the sellout that people have.
We know.
There's a reason we also often have a high percentage of our politicians going to jail. It is political slavery, it's politics, it's political slavery. You talked about a budget. $500 a month stipend is what we get, and we spend that on refreshments, trying to get the word out. No, we cannot sell money. No, we cannot solicit money, but what we can do is use this space to intuitive people like yourself to provoke that intelligent thinking so that we can change our conditions. That's what we're doing. Is it an uphill battle? Absolutely correct. They fought for that dissent decree for almost 10 years before it was enacted in 2019. And then the city didn't create an ordinance until 2021. And then we were elected. Now we are using this space for as long as we have it to let you guys know that you got the freaking power. You got the power because it's your vote and it's your voice. And until we unite with that voice and vote and not sell out for Turkey in November and December and vote for them anyway, but to definitely make a difference because you're sick of 545 being a case. We're sick of 500 North Central doing the raid and then an hour later they're back open. People, squeaky wheel gets the oil. And it's time for us not.
There's a change coming. There's a change coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Change.
Yes, ma'am.
For a while.
There's a change coming.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll also say, you know what, our communities are also a reflection of our leadership in that they don't collaborate as well. Our aldermen, state rep, and congresspersons, they don't get together and decide as a group, how can we invest the different sums of money, business opportunity and resources into these communities together to funnel something of substance. And they literally don't do that, you know what I mean?
Well, a lot of them been bought out. A lot of them been bought out. I think we've been sold out. Well, sold out, and we get some, go get Jesus, do some of the pastors to get your, the vote people.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, it's just corruption.
Yeah.
And a lot of this has been reported and still not done.
Well, some being done, but.
Oh, they do them now. Oh, a lot of them do now. Don't worry about it. A lot of them do now. Oh, it's time.
Sorry. Yes.
You know,
Go to Mount Wolf.
I gotta say this, you know, Well, I mean,
Yeah,
this is super,
yeah, it is deep.
super, super deep.
Very deep.
You know,
It's sad.
I just gotta get this out, you know. This deep is painful.
Yes, I, that's my thing.
Deep and it's painful.
It's very deep. It's very deep.
You know, and I can't sit here with what I'm hearing, what I know,
Yeah, right.
what I see. I'm 79 damn years old, I should be doing something else. I live on the north side of Chicago. I've been working in this community. People get on me about not working in my own community on the north side, but this is where, when the Reverend Louis Flowers ran the West Side Ministry Coalition, what happened, I was there, I've been here for 30 damn years.
You don't pay for the
30 years, and I'm listening to this. And I can't help but bring in all the stuff that goes on outside of this. That's having an impact on this,
Yeah.
that we still have to face politically and otherwise. I deal with drug dealers just about every day I come in here, sitting on our steps. I'm standing in the door, watching them shoot up and slaughter on my place. And I have to go out there and ask them politely, please move, take it somewhere else. I have people come in here. And I get the flack from them, and I'm saying, well, hell, be cool, man, because they know your car, they know who you are, and life is expendable.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. So. I'm looking at the kids.
Welcome back.
Look, I'm looking at the kids, and I'm looking at boys and girls, teenagers, out here slinging their drugs. I'm looking at them. You know, I come out of here at 8 o'clock in the night, you know, they're out there doing their thing, and I'm saying, something's wrong with this.
It's there. It's there.
These kids don't look like they're supposed to be in jail, or the stigma that people put on the image of kids. I mean, these are everyday kids, they go back home to wherever they go back home to. And that's what we got, you know, I mean, they're disenfranchised to being involved with what we're talking about. That's our dilemma. And then we get, and let me go here, then we get some of the old schoolers that still think they can do the same thing. I get entangled with those guys. I'm saying, come on, you know, it's a vicious cycle. But what I'm trying to get at is,
That's right. No, you can't do, no, you can't give up.
so what I'm saying here, for an example, I'm gonna take this particular night. That we had the opportunity here at the Austin Community Family Center. Big deal to me. To have this kind of forum. Wow, this is power. Ladies and gentlemen, this is power. This is power in the bar. So where I'm going with that is, yeah, we're not gonna solve a damn thing here tonight. Per se.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to.
Yes, here's what we're going to solve. Because what we're talking about is coming together.
That's right.
We're talking about coming together. You know, there's strength in numbers, and there's also knowledge and wisdom and energy in this. You know, I don't know exactly how your council works, but I do know when I hear you can tap into a stronger power.
Right.
And tapping into them can, with more influence and power, we can make something happen.
Yeah.
We make something happen. Because I tell you, we can meet every month, twice a month, whatever, but if we don't come up with some solid, steps, it don't have to be a whole bunch of steps. We can come out of here with saying, well, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to unite behind and do it. And get it done. We don't have to have 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we want to come away from the meeting with. You know, we could just agree to do something, you know, to make things just a percentage better. One example. I was part of that meeting that they mentioned when there was a conversation about leaving the drug dealers alone. And dealing with the behavior and stuff. You know, well, as long as that's selling drugs, they don't get to change behavior. You'll never change the behavior as long as you're selling the drugs. You know, these are old guys standing out on my steps. Prove that, they've been doing it for years. So, I propose to the 15th to please hear me on this. Just to make a difference, I said, look, I'll give you a space for a substation right here. A substation. You guys just come in, go whenever, but you need the president.
Yeah.
The president.
Yeah.
People will come out more if they know there's a substation here.
Yeah.
When they can see a police car sitting on the curb or wherever they park, they park where they want to anyway. So, seeing a police car out there at any time of the day, they can't do business because they don't know when. These guys can't show up. That's the reason. No,
Yeah, that's a common, issue, it's supposed to be present, be integrity. We hear that time and time again. I don't know what's going on in the district, strategic conversations, but, we'll make sure to make that a point, because that's something that we talk about a lot.
It's a no-brainer.
No presence, not enough presence.
It's a
Not enough present. You got students that's coming in to this, in the evening time.
Yeah.
And just like you said, you know, we all live right around the corner. So we see at the hour, at the part of our hour, even in my hour.
How about Friday evening from 3 o'clock on, I watch the traffic go through that driveway. That driveway where there's ambulance and business.
Okay.
You know, I watch the foot traffic.
Okay.
You know. So I'm just saying, yeah,
But documentation beats conversation, so maybe what we need to do is just, do what we do.
Exactly.
We'll talk offline.
yeah,
That's something we got.
yeah.
Because I got news for you, Mayor Lightfoot was in the 28th ward for some, I don't know, for something. And Pulaski and Springfield has always been a thoroughfare,
It's terrible.
similar to that,
Yeah.
what you're talking about here.
Mhm.
So the people were so brazen, they actually went up to the mayor's detail car and solicited.
Yeah.
And she told her people to buy it. The next day, there was a sting and she arrested everybody. The alderman, Jason Irving, lived right down the street on Jackson. Passes it every day and it was not uncomfortable for him. So then I understand in the city council meeting, she shared the story. And basically, instead of him thanking the whatever he couldn't get done from a lack of effort or otherwise, he was offended that she outed him. Well, you know what? Conversation and documentation needs conversation. So therefore, let's do what other people don't have the courage to do. Everybody's not built to fight.
Good.
And a lot of people are comfortable in their particular space. And I'll go out a little further on the limb. And some people can't fight because they themselves are not clean. And I'm gonna fight right there.
Right.
I would say, because we spent a long time in this conversation, we gotta shift, at least talk about our roles and updates. I did send, while we were having a conversation, I was sending the information that you were sharing to the sergeant, just about the areas and the concerns. So that's something that, we'll continue to keep an eye out on. I'll talk to her personally tomorrow and see, what can be done in regard of I don't know about substation idea, or things, but just to have them, yeah. I'll absolutely, and then I'll make sure I give her a card as well, so.
Wait,
They don't even speak at the
they don't wait up there, drive down the
The
street.
people that don't have on the police department now, it don't really need to be there from the sergeant, the captain, or nobody. They not intelligent, they don't know how to treat people, I just
But, you
can't
know-
believe it from 50. When I was raised and my father was a sergeant and stuff, compared to now. It's entirely a different. Without an investment, that's very little appreciation. I'm a grunt. We're ready to go to what we do. I'm Carmelita Earls, the chair of council. I'm different. I am not sitting here going to talk about whatever education I have. It means nothing if it can't make a difference. I'm a grunt.
That's right.
Born and raised West Side.
Right.
Guerrilla warfare. I did not spend 32 years in the Chicago Fire Department around chauvinism, favoritism, nepotism, sexism, and any other isms, and succeed to be the highest ranking woman when I retired, only second to the commissioner. That's through guerrilla warfare. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what I do, because that gives you a heads up to defend against it. But what I will tell you is that we have to be smart. Action speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you want, I'm the chair, basically, I'm the third leg to a braided cord of some very intelligent people. Arewa Winters has been working on this, in this space for years. I've been tearing stuff up for 32 years. When you call 911, I come in there, that's what I like putting my hands on things. It's distressful for me. This is the brains behind what we do, but I am just that particular person that sits back and goes, and then watch the result from that. That's all I can tell you. You know, I'm glad to hear that we had this conversation. But the interesting, I don't need recognition, I just need results. And so there you have it.
So,
I got another question, the young lady, you are on, was it 540? The young lady did in the basement, that, it was this year, right? The young, it was 545. Yeah, it was a young lady that was found dead. She was on the lot, she was homeless. Do y'all know anything about it? We heard she was found in the basement, but then dead. And we hadn't heard anything about no how she died or what was, yeah, 5 overdose, she overdosed.
How long ago?
Yeah, she was pregnant.
How long ago?
This year, about January, February, my February, March, man, February, March. We never heard anything about it no more. Please, she was homeless on the corner. They weren't pregnant. Something happened, my neighbor knocked on the door, told me, this young come outside. I said, what? And the police flipped her over their couch. I said, what? They said, well, she flipped her over the couch, and they might pregnant child. So I came out of my big mouth, and I see my big mouth. I said, fuck. I looked and saw her, and I said, sir, she's something wrong with her. She's not stable. Well, she bit the officer, and they all 3 or 4 times that girl, she was 8 months pregnant.
Did you put in a complaint?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then that what you.
Yes, I did. I called the
Okay.
sergeant. I called him over, asked him what happened. He let me ignore me, and I said, no, that's all right, I'll talk 15 days. I was talking to him.
And this is where documentation, remember that phrase meets conversation?
Yeah.
And this is where the accountability comes in. Well, I have to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
It's real simple, you know, nothing has changed since the 50s and 60s.
Oh, no.
The only thing that has changed is that it's being recorded.
Exactly.
This is what makes people do their job, period. And the only thing, we don't have to get into no competition.
I said,
I don't have to
sir,
do any of that.
I said, sir, I asked you a question, because I'm a mother. And I said, this young lady is something, she's disturbed.
Yeah.
We called y'all several times about her. And you all did that to the list though, she was 8 months pregnant, they flipped her across the top, my name told her. And she was pregnant, next thing you know, they found in the basement, an old lady, and
Okay.
you know she had an issue. We know she had an issue, because I didn't call Hydro, I had a young lady looking Hydro, counselor, drug counselor, called him, come get her. When they came out there to pick her up, she was gone, she was gone.
Message you see, that's what resources like this is all about. We're going to be creating a leverage. Go ahead.
so our next, agenda item is to actually give you district council updates. Arewa?
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you give us your updates?
Yeah, I've been struggling and straining trying to hear this very dynamic conversation this evening. I'm sorry I can't be there with you all. But a few things I just wanted to mention. So we are planning to have a gratitude dinner tentatively set for Sunday, November 10th. We're just trying to work out some details, but it will give us an opportunity to invite everyone that has attended all of our meetings over the past year and a half. And at that time, we kind of want to give an overview of what we've been doing this past year and what we, look to do, over our next 2 years. But one thing what I'm hearing from this evening is we definitely want to work to empower community members to become more vocal, but we do have to organize. We have to be strategic, methodical, and intentional. And maybe what we should be considering is creating our own public safety plan for the 15th district. And this is something that we should be introducing to whether it is the commission or it is our individual policing district. But we're going to have to put ourselves in a position where once we create whatever this is, that we can't take no for an answer. If we saying this is because a part of what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to be talking about how police show up in our community. And it is about us, how they show up for us not how they show up for themselves in our communities, but how they show up for us in our communities. But if we don't, what it says, power conceives nothing without a demand. So we can't keep going about this as individuals, as one person off a block or one person in a neighborhood, but we're going to have to do it as a collective, as a body, because number speaks volumes and it makes things move. So that's something that we have to think about in very short term, because we only have about a year and a half or so. I heard someone mention the Dexter Reed case. And I just want to say that right now the city is pushing to have that case dismissed. I don't have all the particulars, but I do know some of the civil rights attorneys that are working on that case. And that's what they are up against right now with the city lawyers trying to get that case dismissed. And it's not in the protectual stops, is not in the consent decree as of yet, but we are supposed to collaborate with, because I do work on the consent decree as the community side, and we will be working in collaboration with the community commission around pretextual stops. And I know there's also a push to have them ended, but in the event they are not ended, we do have the federal consent decree does have teeth. And if the police department leaned more into what community members are asking for, they would be further along than 7% compliance. But we're talking about an institution that has kind of been its own vehicle and done its own thing for since its conception. And that's we are like David going up against Goliath, but we all know that David was eventually able to bring Goliath down. And as far as ShotSpotter is concerned, we are going to have a larger community conversation around ShotSpotter, because I don't think the community at large was well enough informed about ShotSpotter, about the technology, about the data, about the statistics. They didn't introduce that to us. And I think it was very, I don't know a word to describe it, but I'm very disheartened by the mayor ending ShotSpotter and not having anything to replace it. And now he's asking, business organizations to give some ideas. But my thing is, if it was any other community, if it was Lincoln Park, if it was Mount Greenwood, there is no way that ShotSpotter would have been ended without having something else to replace it with. And even now, it's going to take 2 years, 3 years to replace it with something else. And since ShotSpotter has ended, there's been at least 6, possibly 7 shooting incidents where people have been killed, and there was not one 911 call made. And so ShotSpotter was not designed to prevent crime. It was designed to respond to gunshots. meaning they could respond to victims quicker. That's what that technology was used for, but they kept perpetuating it as though it was supposed to end crime and end shootings, and that was not the case. So it was packaged all wrong. It was presented to us all wrong. But now that so many city councils are fighting for it to come back, we need to be a part of that conversation. So the 15th district is going to have a conversation, and we're going to have to make a decision from an informed place. And right now we don't have that because they did not give us that opportunity. And then the third thing about this meeting that they're at, the 15th district is at around the strategic planning. I was at the meeting last year, and like I told DeAndre earlier, I don't remember seeing a plan. And I reached out to someone in CAPS and I said, well, where is the plan from 2024? Because it was 2 wonderful meetings. It was intergenerational. Good ideas came out of it from community members is what we wanted to see. And that was the last I heard of it post the meeting. And we know that the Chicago Police Department is good for checking boxes. Now they'll say, oh, we had this meeting with community, but community is not seeing what is coming out of these meetings. And so I'm going to ask for that plan again, and hopefully they give it to us. And if so, we will share with everyone that's on our sign-in list, because this is another measure by which we can hold the police department accountable instead of them just occupying our time, taking our intellectual property and not doing anything with it, not doing things that community is asking them that should be done on our behalf. And what else I wanted to say? I think that's about it. And last thing I want to say is about the Aspire Center, because I'm a community organizer with Austin Coming Together, and Austin Coming Together is a part of the Aspire Center. And as a community, I just came on with them in November of last year, so it's new to me, but I have expressed that to them on several occasions that before me coming to Austin Coming Together, I saw the building coming up and I didn't know what the building was. But now that I know what it is, I'm trying to tell them that they have to do more outreach and make community members aware of what it is. And whoever said that they should be out, whether it's on the weekends or canvassing or whatever they need to do, they should be making community members aware of the Aspire Center and the workforce development program that is coming, because it could also be considered a measure of public safety if they're talking about helping young people in the community get jobs and gainful employment. So that's all I want to end on that note. And let me see, and this is not solely about the institution of policing. What needs to change is the institution of family. And that's where we have to, and I don't know how we get back there, but my father policed his children. My uncle, my next door neighbor, we were police right here in community. It wasn't an external force that did that for us. And we all know that back in the day, that's how it was. And block clubs were a very instrumental part of that. And I tell people block clubs was the first community policing. And so we're going to have to get back to how we do that, and do that in such a way that we're not afraid. Everything is so intense now. So some of us have that heart and passion, but we're afraid because we don't know our neighbors. It's a lot of newness going on. A lot of dynamics have changed. There's no, gangs don't have the type of the morality and things that they once had. I never heard of my brother. They were gang banging. They never went to nobody's funeral shooting up. They never came down your block shooting up, never shooting around kids. Just things that happened back in the day that today is something totally different. So we have to get back to the institution of community, and that it takes a village, because that is absolutely true. But we have to do it as a collective. We have to be safe with one another together as a collective. And I wish we could have a meeting where all of our attendees could continue coming back. Each meeting we have new people. We're trying to reach as many people as we can, but we need for people to keep coming back and keep supporting us and keep working with us, because this is a big lift. This is a very heavy lift, and there are so many intricacies and things that need to be done and should be done. And we can get there, I think, if we create our own public safety plan for the 15th district. So I'm gonna
Counselor-
leave that there. Thank you all for this very robust conversation.
Counselor Winters, can you give us your roles as nominator?
Yes, so I'm as the nominator, it was my job along with the 21 other nominators to go through the process of getting the 14 community commissioners. We went through over 100 applications to replace that interim commission of 7 with a new body of 7 members. So we put 14 names to the mayor, and the mayor chose the names, put them before city council. And so that is how this new this term commission was seated. And so we are still having ongoing conversations, because now we have to one of our West Side representatives has resigned, and she was also filling this role as an attorney. So we have 2 commissioners from the South Side, 2 from the North Side, 2 from the West Side, and 1 is considered citywide. So it's 2 youth commissioners, it's 2 lawyers, 2 community organizers. And so if you know of anyone that is on the West Side that is an attorney that may be interested in, rolling up their sleeves and getting into this, very, very new political power that we have, please send me some names and references, because I believe the application has gone live, but now we need to fill the West Side seat as well as, and that West Sider has to be an attorney. So that's what we are looking for now to do. So if you know of anybody, please let us know.
Does the council work with organizations and to, mitigate, the risk that criminality and things? But then also places like Aspire, who are not doing the community outreach effectively. Why aren't they partnering with organizations like the Office of Community Family Center, who have the capacity to reach as well? So the accountability needs to be, as far as if you're gonna fight the fight to, bring the mind down, you gotta fight on all fronts. It don't get stopped. It's not gonna stop when it's talking to people. And these people in the room, as much as they have a voice, they don't have the bandwidth to put money together, to bring resources together, people in the room, space, accommodation. So there needs to be an alliance between council, police, and community businesses and organizations.
So you say that the Aspire Center should be reaching out to the smaller communities like they're simply not gonna do that because they're hoarding the funds. Girl, say it again. That's about. That's why there's no community out there.
But as you push the agenda that effectively reaching people and utilizing the resources, you force their hand, you call them to the department head. If you're not served, if you have the capacity to serve 100 youth, and in 1 year you reach 5 youth, we need to call you to the department. And we need to force them to utilize the money, get the resources, get the partnership, so that it can be effective.
Stop trying to keep it all in-house, because you're doing a community a disservice by keeping it in-house.
Now, you have to say, hey, you are part of the problem as far as time not being able to dissipate, because you're not putting the resources out there. You're part of the problem.
Without a doubt, listen, are you aware that that school was renovated before it was closed? That's, okay, look it up. Your tax dollars renovated that school before it was closed. That's not the only one. And then all of a sudden it hit the closed list. Another corporation got a rehab without even having to spend money to get it. And now they're getting more of your tax dollars to do a job while they come in, check the box, as Councilman Winter says, and then go back to their, with all due respect, their suburban areas. That's on us, because we are not holding the people that sign off on it accountable. So before we go down
DeAndre.
the rabbit hole, before that, we go down that rabbit hole, Karen, you say something?
No, I was about to ask DeAndre, do we have a speaker for November?
No.
Because maybe we can get someone from the Aspire Center to come to our next meeting and be our if not our guest speaker, our organizational speaker next month or December.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
So again, Dr. Deanna Rudis, I am our community engagement specialist. My role is to essentially facilitate communication between the police department and community. Additionally, I am the one that generally puts together like events and activities for the community and police for that engagement purpose. I did not bring any, but I create our monthly newsletter. So for folks that are not able to come to the meetings, there's always a newsletter that follows. It generally has updates from the CCPSA. So a bunch of the things that were shared tonight and in previous meetings are generally on there. Also just kind of the highlights of the organizations as well as speakers that come out to tell us information. With that, I also record every meeting. So we do have a YouTube channel where our meetings are posted. There are 2 QR codes that are also on the newsletter. One focuses on a contact. If in case you did not want to speak out in the meeting, you can remain anonymous because all of the information comes directly to me. And then I can share with the police department. Also, there's a survey that has been tracking how the police engagement and public safety has gone since we started these roles, which we will continue to monitor to the end to see hopefully things get better. Also, we have a resource list or guide, if you will, it's a drive because it's on Google Drive that contains information pertaining to our meetings. So in some meetings, we've had folks talk about trespassing, we've had others talk about, what was another thing down there? Noise complaints. So we'll go on, we'll find the different ordinances or reference points for those issues, and then we'll put those in there. The newsletters are in there. I think the link, if I'm not mistaken, for the YouTube is also contained in there. So that is also on our newsletter though. The other thing that we do, I want to get back to this. I was trying to get this instigated, but it didn't take off, but listening tours. So for those that would like for us to come directly to your community area, we will do that to hear what those concerns are. And if you don't want to do it in a public forum, we can do it then and then just take notes and then take it back. The other thing, 10/24, so October 24th at 5820 West Divisions. We are holding our next quarterly Know Your Rights. We do these quarterly where we focus on different issues in policing and or public safety. This one, we will focus on reasonable articulable suspicion. That is essentially probable cause, that is pretextual stop, anything as it relates to the police engaging with us on feet or in our cars so that we can best understand how do they determine who they're going to stop and detain and whatever else comes from it. So again, that'll be October 24th, 5:30, 5820 West Division. And that is a joint partnership between the 15th, 25th district. That's why we got it up there. And actually it's on the side of the 25th district, but it's right in our borderline. 5820, yes, 5820.
What day that's on?
That is October 24th
Oh, my
at
birthday.
5:30.
Oh, my birthday. My birthday. My birthday.
What else? We have currently 2 complaints out in Copa. I have yet to have the opportunity to follow up. One was placed probably 4 months ago now when we talked back then. Copa said it would take 6 months. My hope is that for at least that particular complaint, next month we'll have an update for you about that. The other one just was placed last month. And I have not followed up with COPA to see where they are in the discussion with that, so I will do that. and have an update for you in the next community meeting. And what else did I wanna mention? Yeah, I think that's all.
I wanna respond to her, not respond, but agree with both what you all were saying. It's not, and I love Alex, are you a rapper? You're a rapper? You're a rapper?
Right?
Are you a rapper?
Right.
Oh, okay. I just want to give you your honor. But I agree with what you all were saying. You know, I remember this a long time ago, when I got the man, we speak back to teach the kids. And what you all said, when organizations like DEO, ACT, all of that, I started ACT a long time ago, that's a long time ago too. I've been there, I'm sorry, I don't need no, just to let you know about me saying, a lot of what I'm saying. But when we build stuff, just like it's been there a long time, the wheel is already there. The wheel don't need to be revamped. It don't need, that's just me out, it's not old school. It don't need to be revamped. We need to help and come together and help each other. You know, that was Emmett School. My kids went there, so I know about the school. You shouldn't have closed, shouldn't have closed key. Over here, shouldn't have closed. But it is what it is, all these happen. But we got to come together on one accord and work together. Because unity together is the way, but divided will fall. And that's what we at now. Everybody don't come in and get a pie Austin. He's pie Austin. This center been here, wasn't, got the gentleman, but my son knows that. He's still here, right? The young gentleman still back in that too. No, the other gentleman. I can't think of his name now. But anyway, he's here, young gentleman. But he's been out for a long time, but the kids are why? Not invest in him. Invest in him. This nice stuff. Again, got the whole lot. That's another community. I know. No, I'm just saying, I agree with
Minutes.
It is not just agree with what you all said, you know, it could be another thing, it's right. So you're right, I'm gonna say it again.
Okay,
Cause it used to be excellent back in the.
Yes, it is.
yeah, dude.
Six-
So I,
Yeah, when I bought over in here,
Oh, yeah.
it was the bomb here.
we have 2 more sections of this meeting left. One, I have, so,
So
way
we got
back
to
when, I was
So
actually.
we gotta be quiet, no, go ahead.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
So we have 2 sections left. One was the minutes that I did not get to. I was supposed to that always at the beginning. But our community outreach coordinator Isaiah, that is always with us, he was sick today actually, so we don't have our minutes. So we're gonna have to table those minutes for last month of September for next month. We'll read about next month's meeting. So I have to make a motion, and I actually,
She can hear.
do I? Yeah, you motion.
I'm not supposed to. Make a motion.
Okay, just a second. Okay, right. So, I motion, I forgot this, yeah, right. So I motion to move, the table this week's minutes, well, September's minutes to be read in, our next meeting in November.
Can you second that motion, Karen?
And second,
Okay, it has been motioned by Councilor Rivers, second by Councilor Winters, that the minutes be deferred until next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Consider it done.
Alright, so next, part of our agenda is we bring up an organization, we choose to highlight organizations that are doing a mighty work in our community that do not get the recognition that they deserve. And so we want to make sure that during our meetings, we do that. So we call a particular segment our organizational spotlight. So with that, we wanted to highlight Black women in solidarity. And so we'd like for you to come up and just talk about your organization and what you do.
Okay, before you wanna come up, you can come over here. Okay, hi. My name is Mary Ann. I am founder of Black Women in Solidarity nonprofit. This is my sister Pearl, she is co-founder of Black Women in Solidarity nonprofit. And Black Women in Solidarity initiative to be an advocate resource and support system for women of color and their families and community. We do that on several ways.
we run a, Black Kids Journal program where we teach, kids how to, write down their feelings because, as you know, Black and brown kids experience trauma quite differently from other races. So in order to get them to, channel in on how they're feeling and communicate how they're feeling, we, do a journal program. So they'll journal their feelings, and then once they get to write those down, they're able to express those to the individuals that they need to express those to. We also run a, What's the Biz, program, and since What's the Biz is about entrepreneurship. Because now, today, you know, we need to figure out alternate resources and income. And we teach, women, how to start their own business and how to monetize their business. So we teach them how to, from beginning to end, how to, do an EIN, register for an EIN, and, how to become a 501c, and how and where to look for those grants when, as you need them to run your business, operational funds and things like that. We also run, what we call a parent mentoring program. And what the parent mentoring program is basically about parental engagement. It's about bringing the parents into the schools again to recognize and understand how our kids are being educated and who's educating our kids. And, so we, you know, we're here to try to be, we're not trying to solve the, problem, but we're here to be a piece of the puzzle that's, helpful to solve.
Another thing that we do is, we bring together, engagement and empowerment. In September, we did the Black Women and Girls Rally. We had, the main part.
Good Jack.
Yeah.
Good Jack, that's what we call it.
Good Jack. So we did the Black Women and Girls Rally to bring awareness to this disproportionately to Black women are impacted by crime in Chicago. We will be facilitating the Black Women and Girls Rally here on December 28th to further advocate around the Black environment. Also, this is about, you know, that we turn on that. We need you all to share that case doors are open, come in here, support the center. If you have an engagement that you need to stay, we love to have you here. We have an office right here, like our very office, it's right outside of this door. Out of the office, it's back door. I will let them know if you're in here. If you're in, oh, you better know the days of which you're in here.
Schedule.
Schedule.
So they got here,
Yeah.
oh, Monday,
Or Terry. Is right.
well, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm here from, 10 to 4. And so some Saturdays, and there's someone that's here Tuesdays, Thursdays, 10 to 3. But I mean, it's,
So you said 10 to 3 is 8.
So we wanna,
we're talking about having some type of organization thing here, but we're very flexible. With what we can offer you. We can tailor. We have that kind of flexibility right now. And it's all about, so it's all about doing our best to make a difference.
and you talked about, how the office in Tennessee, the old YMCA is thriving, you know, back then. We want to revive that here. We want to bring that back into the community. So, you know, we can't do that without community voice.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we're getting some capital improvement money to do some repairs and upgrading. So we have 2 gyms, we have workout rooms, we have a swimming pool now, mind you. There's 2 more swimming pools in the area, so what we're thinking about doing is converting our swimming pool into a mini bowling alley. So it's not into a no bowling alleys in the area. So we're looking at maybe probably a 3-lane, possibly 4, but it's 3-lane bowling alley. So there's things that's going on and
yeah, we're trying to bring it back. We try to bring it back.
Those properties, again,
Yeah, well,
My son stayed up in the gym room with
And then that's when you talk about, misappropriation of funds
them.
and people just draining.
Exactly,
draining.
exactly.
And unfortunately, this is a product of it.
Oh, no, you know,
This is being a product of that, as you talked about tabling the meetings we talked about, with base of office meetings.
yeah.
Alex did say there is some capital improvement, on the, have, the community support and instrumental to make it to get the money to make it here. And making sure that we are living constituents actually honor the needs of this center as a community benefit.
One of the things we're really going to put about it is mental health.
Yeah.
Really, community needing. You know, there are other organizations, not to say that that's not happening out there, but, you know, this is the diamond in the rough.
Yeah, yes,
It's the diamond in the rough. You know, I talked to the former, executive director that runs this, YMCA when he was here, and he continues to say, you know, Eddie, it doesn't take a lot of, when you look at the scheme of the things that we're talking about here tonight, with the violence and the drugs and, you know, all the things that are happening to us, you know, this place, whether I'm here, whether we're here, whoever's here, this place can make a big difference. At large. Now, look, we have a church there, we have one down the street, and we have two more down here there. And, you know, we all should be like this.
Then you got to
That's
go
what
to
it
the.
is. So I'm just saying, you know, we're gonna have, job readiness training, we're gonna have English as a second language. We have more Latinos moving into the community, so we have to, you know, this place is supposed to be open to whoever, regardless of the person, to come in here and give us a look. So that's what we're gonna have here. I'm speaking this into existence.
I agree with you.
Speaking it into existence, and this meeting here tonight, as I said, I'm gonna use it as a catalyst to doing what we're supposed to be doing to the community, for the people. And, so we're good. We're good.
We appreciate that, and you know what, all minds clear. We wanna thank the, Black Women of Solidarity, we wanna thank Brother Alex for your hosting us, and we wanna be respectful of your time. We started late, we were supposed to end at 8, we're about 60 seconds behind. We don't want anyone to, have to, I know a lot of you walk from the area, whatever, we wanna make sure if we need to walk you home, let us know. We're willing to do that, may I have, please?
Yeah, we got one more thing for it, just have to make the announcement for our next meeting, our next regularly scheduled meeting is
Thank you, guys.
November 14th, and again, as our regular council mentioned, November 10th, Sunday, we'll be at the refectory, and we have an appreciation dinner. So, you know, please come on out, if you can make that. But our regular scheduled meeting will be 11/14, and we have yet to find a location, but it'll more than likely be, South Austin. I'm trying to lock down, one or two churches down in the South Austin area, so.
After you do that, you're free to use it. You know.
Okay.
Outstanding, outstanding.
Thank you. So with that, I make a motion to, adjourn our meeting.
Council Winters?
November 10th, right, dinner, is registration required?
No.
No,
Because,
come on in.
we have your information, so we'll be sending it out. I should say, that's the other thing, so when we do outreach, we outreach with flyers. The day before or 2 days before the meeting, we send emails, and I have very high social media presence, so I'm always putting it all over my social media too. So I try, at least I try to tap into it. I don't know about nobody else.
And
Okay, let's-
DeAndre, as long as they signed in, we'll make sure they get the formal invitation for the gratitude dinner.
Right.
Outstanding, Karen, and since you have the floor, may I have a second to that motion, please? To adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry, I second.
Okay, the motion has been seconded and meeting adjourned. All in favor? Aye. Let's go. Outstanding.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know, I just been, see, we don't have.
But I don't know everything.
Okay, see you later.
Listen, reach out to me, if y'all have, I don't have my card. Well, you know this young lady, right?
Okay, see ya.
Okay, all right now. Well, y'all let me know so we can bring, so we can do the community thing. Y'all gotta let me know though. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. Yo, I'm not, yo, I'm not, yo, no.